It doesn't matter if you call it title fraud, deed fraud, equity theft, or something else. It's a growing problem nationwide that affects rich and poor property owners alike. Take a look at these clips from news reports in different states.
Your grandfather lived here, he worked here.
Yes.
For Curtis Simmons, that family history is why this dilapidated house on South 20th Street is so important, passed down from his grandfather. Until late last year, Simmons discovered he no longer owned the home.
It's stunning. That's the only way to say it.
Simmons says in December he was finally ready to sell the property for $400,000 when the city records clerk showed him this sales agreement that had already transferred the deed to a property investor for $150,000. The paperwork had been notarized and filed 3 weeks earlier. Simmons says he received none of the money. Someone else signed his name.
It's nothing like my signature. As soon as I saw it...
So this is a forgery?
It's a forgery. This was the garage door here.
For Simmons, the alleged theft of his old family home has been a blow financially and personally. He now faces a costly and lengthy legal battle that's just beginning to regain a property that he says has been rightfully his the whole time.
It's a problem that I should never have had.
Deed fraud? It's pretty easy to do.
Dallas County prosecutors told us they've identified at least 90 properties taken through deed fraud over the past 2 years, and they believe there's many more.
The government relies on people being honest because most of us are honest. It's when you get these people who are trying to take advantage of that system and trying to take advantage of its vulnerabilities.
The Reverend Melissa Bidding's congregation has been going through a tribulation. The most shocked and angered them. 2 years ago, they learned ownership of their church property had been transferred to someone else.
We thought Dallas County had just lost their mind, that they had just messed up, that somehow it was some clerical error.
The church, the oldest in Lancaster and one of the oldest Christian congregations in the state, was not for sale. They find it was no clerical error. Records filed with the county clerk claimed the church's chairman deeded the property over to a non-church member for $10. Bidding told us no one knew the person listed on the deed who claimed to be the church's chairman.
The first thing, of course, we did was call the police because, basically this is fraud.
Prosecutors say 59-year-old Ronald Griffin didn't just trespass into Halle Berry's Hollywood Hills home. He claimed he owned it and reportedly tried to change the locks while she was away. In a bizarre turn of events, the LAPD says when Griffin showed up on Berry's property in March for the second time in 2 months, he had a fake deed of ownership.
It's a little-known part of identity theft called deed fraud, when a property deed or title transfer is recorded illegally without the true owner's knowledge. It happened to a Los Angeles homeowner whose identity was stolen, and with the stroke of a pen, her house was stolen from her.
And getting it back is no simple feat. A local woman has been living through the nightmare for a year and a half with no end in sight. Casey Montoya has her story.
I mean, this should never happen to anybody. And the reason why I'm here today is to try to stop this.
Karan Payton has lived in this home in Mid-City Los Angeles for more than 20 years. In November of 2019, she was shocked to receive a letter in the mail from the county recorder's office stating she had gifted her home to a man named Frank Galvan.
It was horrifying.
Someone purporting to be Ms. Payton had transferred the property to a man named Frank Galvan or Galvan for free, and then this gentleman proceeded to take a refinance on the property, take out a huge amount of money, and then disappear into the wind. Because of Frank's fraud, he's pulled enough different parties into this where the amount of fighting that we have to do to fix and unwind this will take at least another year.
To make matters worse, the lender who refinanced the loan for Galvan is now suing Miss Payton.
She lived here with her mom.
Neighbors say 79-year-old Joan Morgan lived in her Southeast Side home alone after her mother's death, and a stroke left her in declining health.
Joan's a nice lady. I've known her for many years.
She let homeless people stay on her property in exchange for extra money.
Some of them definitely took advantage of her.
The county alleges that Josephine Guthrie was one of them. They say she moved in August 2017, and a month later wrongfully took control of the property, paying just $5 on a home and lot that would typically be worth around $400,000.
This is the property deed now at the center of a criminal investigation by police, all tied to lucrative land in Coconut Grove that was secretly sold from underneath its rightful owner, 86-year-old Shirley Gibson.
That someone had forged my name.
A second property Ms. Gibson owns had been listed for sale until the deal fell through on closing day. A scam on the rise across Florida, typically targeting low-income senior citizen property owners. It's forced this realtor to change the way his company does business.
If someone is going to hire us, it's horrible to have to suspect that we have to double check if this person really owns that lot. But, you know, the circumstances, the times, I think it's the best thing to have our clients protected.
As a lawyer and a former criminal prosecutor, I have personally battled deed fraud in California since 2003, and criminals know this is an easy way for them to steal a lot of money. My friends in law enforcement tell me that organized crime syndicates have now discovered deed fraud, which means the number of victims is about to explode. Every property owner needs a title monitoring service. Your title insurance policy is important, and some policies may even cover the legal fees for victims of deed fraud. However, no title insurance policy notifies you when fraud occurs, and without early notice, this scam becomes much more difficult and expensive to unwind. Title Shield is the only early warning system that is secured by blockchain technology. Get Title Shield today and sleep easy tonight.